Next up, we're going to talk about type aliases. Basically, this is a way of reusing a type and giving it a name, and we often will do this with more complicated types like an object type that has multiple properties. So in my examples, I've used this type a couple of times for a coordinate, right, where we have a point. It's an object that has this shape. It has an x, which is a number, and a y, which is a number. So instead of using that all over the place, if that's what my program is dealing with, I've got a lot of points, different functions working with points. This is random coordinate. Maybe I write a function called, I want to duplicate this so you have the original. But maybe down here, I also want a function called double coordinate. I don't know why, but let's call it double point. And it expects you to pass in an object that has x as a number and y as a number. And it returns an object that has x as a number and y as a number, and all that it does is it returns a new object based on this x, or maybe we mutate x. It's up to us how we want to do this, but we're going to take this object in double x and double y and return that. So maybe we'll say a new object where x is, let's call this thing point, is the point.x times 2, and y is point.x or y times 2. Now, the logic doesn't matter, but again, I've got a function where I'm reusing this type. This object says x is a number, y is a number, and it happens to return an object where x is a number and y is a number. So instead of repeating that everywhere, what I can do is just make a type alias. So we use the type keyword, that is new, and then the name we want to give this type, and then an equal sign, and then the type. So it doesn't have to be a capital letter, although it often is, and it's convention to do that, but it doesn't have to be in the rules of TypeScript. But let's say I define my own type called point. And it's just an object that has x as a number and y as a number. Now I can reuse this. For example, here, instead of saying this coordinate variable has to follow this pattern, I just say it has a type of point. So I'm not really doing anything new, I'm just making a name for this type. So I'm not creating a new type from scratch or anything. It's just a reference to this type so I can reuse it. So same deal here. This random coordinate function is going to return a point. This double point function is going to accept a point as an argument, right? And then it returns a point. Just like that. And everything still works because it's the exact same pattern. We've just extracted it out into its own type alias. Now, you can create a type alias if you really wanted to that is not an object type. That's all we've seen so far. But you could make a primitive type. My num is the number type. Why you would do this? Maybe for clarity's sake, maybe not my num, but you want to give a custom label to that type, you can do that. And now I can create a variable called, age has type of my num, and it's equal to this number. All I'm doing is saying age is a number. I'm just using this extra layer to do it. Now, I probably wouldn't do that, but for object types, it's definitely helpful. And this is a really short object type. I'm going to show you in the next video more complicated nested objects where we definitely will take advantage of using a type alias just to save ourselves typing.